Welcome to the MLB Closing Time Show. It is Wednesday, July 7th. I forgot the intro. I just realized that now. Oh, well. Tomorrow we'll get back to that lovely new intro we have for the MLB Closing Time Show. But it is Wednesday, July the 7th. Ian Cameron, Conor Mack with you. We are ready to break down the MLB card for this Wednesday. Let's get right to it because, look, we got a couple of games that have already started. We've got a couple games that are about to start. Well, one that's about to start. It's the White Sox and the Twins at Target Field. We've got Lance Lynn for the White Sox taking on Michael Pineda for the Minnesota Twins. White Sox slight road favorites here, 8.5 the total in this game. I like the White Sox here, first five in a full game split. Lance Lynn's been a machine. He's been very, very consistent throughout the course of the season. I'd expect more of the same here today. You look at this lineup today for the White Sox, pretty solid. They've got Abreu in. They've got Tim Anderson in, Larry Garcia. There is no Moncada, but still a pretty solid lineup that they're going with. On the flip side, no Donaldson for the Minnesota Twins in particular. He's the big absence from their lineup today when you look at it top to bottom. Pineda, 3.7 ERA. Pineda, not quite a guy that I trust against the White Sox. You got guys that have hit him hard. I like Tim Anderson, by the way, Jack of the day. This game is just getting underway. 3 home runs against Pineda in the past. That stands out like a sore thumb to me. Abreu even has hit one against him as well. So I like the White Sox here, first five in full game split in this one. Lean over as well. Connor, this one just getting underway, White Sox Twins.
Yeah, this one might have some runs. We'll see with Pineda. You mentioned it. I'm on Tim Anderson. Yeah, the home run prop. And you could probably do his total bases over 1.5, something like that. Singles, doubles. I mean, he's 9 for 15, 3 home runs and 2 doubles there. I lean the Sox as well. I didn't take the game. I lean a little bit over too. Yesterday, the under hit. I didn't play it. I wish I did. Bunch of leans. I wish I had a couple games I just played, but I had a monster. Too many bets yesterday anyways, but yeah, I lean Sox at a cheap price. Pineda's been okay, but I'd rather have the Bulldog here, Lance Lynn. Even though he's been a little bit shaky lately, he's still my guy. So give me the Sox at the cheap price. That's what I lean.
All right, we got the Detroit Tigers and Texas Rangers. Casey Mize, Kyle Gibson, your pitching matchup. Texas once again favored here, modest favorite, minus 145, 8 the total in this game. Mize has been a little bit more hittable, I guess, the last few starts. He's still overall for the season been pretty solid, 3.55 ERA. Solid is not enough of a word, not enough of a good word to say about what Kyle Gibson's done. 1.98 ERA, 6-0 record. He's been absolutely magnificent. Texas, of course, winning yesterday. Detroit won the first game, so this is the rubber match of this series. Just not going against Gibson at this point in time. He's been good. He's been a money machine. First 5 innings, especially with Texas, with Gibson on the mound, has been a good bet. I would lean in that direction here. That being said, you know, the price has been adjusted. You're not getting exactly value anymore with Gibson. But at this point in time, I'm not looking to go against him the way he has been consistently delivering the goods for the Rangers this year. So I haven't bet the game. It's going to be a pass for me, but definitely I would lean Texas first 5. Connor, what do you think here with Tigers Rangers?
Yeah, Casey Mize kind of had a rough one a little bit his last outing. Man, this one's difficult. Gibson, he's been the one consistent. If you kind of back the Rangers anywhere here, and I'd look towards the first 5 under 4.5. I see a lot of 4s now at even money. That's pushing it. I still kind of like it, but I want the hook there, the 4.5. And it's tough. Yeah, you mentioned the price with Gibson. I think yesterday wasn't the shot you took the Tigers. Just take the over. I think today maybe a first 5 with Mize on the mound. Maybe they could get a few off Gibson, but the guy's been so good. We see guys that just kind of haven't got hit yet. You know, Valdez got hit yesterday, first time during the year. Gibson really, you know, other than I think opening day, hasn't got touched. Maybe they can get some runs off him. So I lean Tigers first 5 plus 135, but the first 5 under here.
All right, we have Cincinnati, Kansas City. Next game here, the Reds with Sonny. Yesterday, my life was filled with rain. Sonny Gray and Brady Singer. Isn't that funny? I'm singing about Sonny. So there you go. Good pitching matchup here. Cincinnati minus 135, minus 140 road favorites. Total here in this one sitting in the range of about 9.5 across the board. Actually, the money's come in on Kansas City a little bit. Sure as hell ain't mine. because Kansas City has definitely had a tough time, and so has Brady Singer. He's a guy that I think the Royals still think he can be a top 2 or 3 in the rotation guy in the long run, but it's certainly a work in progress, growing pains for Singer this season. 4.74 ERA overall, 4.63 ERA in his last 3 starts. He just hasn't been served economical. He just hasn't been a guy that's pitched deep into games, and that's a problem here. You look at the last 4 starts. It's not that he's been terrible, but he's had innings where he's had to throw a lot of pitches. He's been in trouble. He's had guys on base. And as a result, with his pitch count being driven up every start, he's only gone 3.2, 5, and 3 innings of work in his last 4 starts. I mean, that's just not economical whatsoever. And then you've got a bullpen that's absolutely pitiful behind you. It's no wonder that it's tough for me to get behind Kansas City here, and that 5.31 bullpen ERA for them in their last 2 games. I don't know how the Reds pissed it away last night, but they did. They were in control. They were up by a comfortable margin, and then a bad night for their own bullpen, which imploded late, and they end up losing 7-6 to the Kansas City Royals in that game. I think the Reds probably in a decent bounce. They're certainly going to be fired up, I would think, to bounce back after letting that game slip away last night like they did against the Kansas City Royals. They're hitting well against righties right now, 2.57 average, 6.1 runs per game against righties at the moment for the Reds. And on the flip side, you've got Sonny Gray on the mound for the Reds, who's been pretty good, actually, his last several starts. He's been pretty consistent. 3.27 ERA overall, 3.6 ERA away from home. I would lean a little to the Reds here, bounce back spot. First 5 full game split. Maybe Reds team total over is something you can look at as well. That's a bet that makes some sense to me. The Reds team total here currently is 4.5, minus 135. So I would look at everything Reds here, to be honest with you. A little Cincy, first 5, little Cincy full game, little Cincy team total here. Certainly you would think they're going to be looking to make amends for just a terrible defeat last night, and they are the better of these 2 teams, and probably trust Sonny Gray in the pitching matchup, favor him over Singer at the moment. What do you think here, Conor Mac? Reds, Royals?
Yeah, we'll see. The Reds old bullpen came back to get them yesterday. They'd been pitching so well, probably the previous 10 or 14 days. Yeah, this is why I stayed off yesterday. Just interleague game. Reds are favored. They were minus 150. It's a little lower today. But the team total, again, the Reds got there the last few days. I wasn't on it. The over 5.5 is plus 115. I lean that way. And I lean the Reds first 5 half a run. You could take them straight. It's right around 145, 150. But if you go with the half here, hopefully they could get some runs off Singer. I got to check the lineup, and maybe I'll look at that right now. But I lean the Reds with you here, first 5 half a run, and maybe the team total. These 5.5s, though, I just don't love them.
Yeah, that's right. They're 4. Make sure you shop around. There are still 4.5. So make sure you get a 4.5, not a 5.5. Save yourself, a full run basically if you're going to bet that team total. What's the lineup looking like? It looks like for the Royals, you got pretty much everyone in there. Reds, you've got India, Winker, Stevenson, Votto, Naquin, Suarez, Barnhart, Akiyama, and Freeman. So, pretty good line. Most of their bigger bats are in there, which is good to see. Today, we'll see if they can make amends for the loss last night against the Royals. Brewers and Mets, we've got Corbin Burns and Jake DeGrom, the pitching matchup in this one. Obviously, with the Mets and DeGrom, you're looking at a massive price here, minus 170. Home favorites in this. Actually, wait a minute. That's not right. I got the wrong screen up here. Give me a sec. There we go. Game. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it is. No, that's the first half here. Hold on one sec here. There we go. We got it back now. All right. So we got the Burns and DeGrom here in this one. We'll see how it goes. When you look at this pitching matchup, though, between these 2 teams, Burns is good, very good. Can he hold his own with DeGrom? That remains to be seen. Obviously, we know what DeGrom's done. He's been absolutely magnificent. 0.95 ERA. It goes without saying just how dominant he's been. The problem is you're getting squeezed here. I mean, you're talking about a situation where the total for this game is right now. Now, this is a 7-inning game. Keep that in mind. That's why the total's so low, but 4.5. You're not giving yourself a whole lot of wiggle room right here. But definitely it makes some sense here to look maybe for a lower scoring game. I just don't know if I can get there with under. Burns is good. Milwaukee is definitely a team that's playing well. Had a really good season so far. Back down to earth a little bit the last couple. But we'll see if they can bounce back. Won't be easy against DeGrom. Bottom line is when DeGrom's on the mound, I don't want to really go against him and hard to find the value. So usually it's games I stay away from, and that's what I'm doing here. What do you think, Conor Mac? Brewers and Mets, game one of their doubleheader.
Yeah, tough one here. I don't love doubleheaders. It's down to 4.5. If you could get the 5, I have 4.5 here at even money. I'm sure you can still find a 5. I lean a little bit under. 7-inning game. You're just getting not a lot of wiggle room here. I guess this is kind of a little bit of a deal with DeGrom. He's going against Burns, who's pitched real well. But yeah, I'd lean under in this one. I'm going to stay off, me and the double headers. But even if you can get a 5, I'd lean under. But under, and Mets, I'd take the Mets a little bit. Their bats have woken up a tad bit. So I lean them as well. I wanted to mention that last one with the Royals. I know it's an early game. I wanted to mention Benintendi. He had a homer yesterday. He's 6 for 11 with the homer. He's a guy I wanted to mention kind of for Jack of the Day against the Reds. Great.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely something to keep an eye on there. Cleveland and Tampa Bay, game 2 of the doubleheader. They're already playing right now. Game 1 of a doubleheader that they're playing down at the Trop today. 6-1 Rays. Another great start for Giancarlo Stanton. That guy's terrible. Why is he still in that rotation for them? He's absolutely awful for the Cleveland Indians, and he's been that way again today for them. Sam Hentges, Josh Fleming was supposed to be the pitching matchup, but now I'm seeing the names off the board. So it's undecided right now. It was going to be Sam Hentges and Josh Fleming. I'm going to be brief because we don't know if they're for sure going to be the starters. If it's Hentges, I got to look Rays team total over. And it looks like the Rays team total over is pretty cashed in the first game against Mejia. Hentges ain't any better. Hentges has been terrible. So I see no reason the Rays can't score runs in that game. So if it is indeed a confirmation of Hentges as the starter here in the second game of this double dip for Cleveland, I'll be looking at a Rays team total. Anything that you might be looking at here in this one, Conor, second game with the Indians and Rays?
Yeah, Hentges, if he's in the over, I've seen him pitch these last few games, and he hasn't disappointed on it. He's going to go out and give you 3 or 4 innings and give up around 5 runs. So,
pretty much, yeah.
I don't love that, Rays have already scored kind of some runs. The lineup might not be the same, but I'm with you. Team total, I lean that way, or maybe just a full game over. Wait till we see the other starter.
Yeah, exactly. If it's Hentges, that's a green light for me to maybe look at Tampa Bay and Tampa Bay team total specifically. Boston Red Sox, LA Angels. This is the last, by the way, of the day games. A lot of day games today, which is Wednesdays and Thursdays you get more day games. This is the last of the afternoon affairs. Boston Red Sox, LA Angels, Eduardo Rodriguez and Andrew Heaney will be the pitching matchup here. Battle of lefties in this game, Southpaws. We've got Boston minus 130. Road favorites here, the total 9 across the board in this one. Been a pretty interesting series, back and forth it's been between these two teams. I got to give the Angels credit. I mean, they've been pretty much a team that after Trout got injured, because they had struggled and Trout gets injured and wow, they're done. They're not going anywhere, but they've been battling. They've been fighting. They've been competing well. Their lineup has been able to hit without Mike Trout. They've clearly established that. When you see, David Fletcher and you see what Max Stassi's doing and you see what Jose Iglesias is doing, Taylor Ward, Jared Walsh, Juan Lagares. I mean, these are all guys that are hitting. And most of all, of course, goes without saying, Shohei Ohtani. What this lineup has been able to do without Mike Trout's been pretty damn impressive. I will say that. Now, you look at the first 2 games of this series. We had a 5-4 game. The first game, we had a 5-3 game. Yes, last night, both of those games stay under. I think we see a different story today with these 2 pitchers. You know what I've been saying about Eduardo Rodriguez for a long time now. Don't really trust him. Has been better. We'll give him that, especially his last start against Oakland. I don't know where that came from, but 6 innings of 1-hit shutout ball against the A's, who normally do well against lefties. So, is that a buy sign? I don't know. That's only one really good start he's had. So he's going to have to show me a lot more than that. He still has a 5.56 ERA on the road, which isn't any good. 8-3, by the way, over the total in Eduardo's 11 road starts this season. And now we've got Andrew Heaney on the mound here for the Angels. He is a guy that I don't trust. He's been brutal in his last 2 starts. 5 runs, 10 hits to the Giants in 6 innings, 7 runs, 5 hits, 3 innings against the Yankees in his last start. And making matters worse here for him, the home run ball has been a problem. 5 homers given up in those 9 innings pitched by Andrew Heaney in his last 2 starts. And why is it bad? Because the wind's blowing out to center field this afternoon for this early day game at Angel Stadium. So that's trouble. This is a double up for me. The double up total worked for me last night. I doubled up with the Yankees and the Mariners. First 5 over, full game over. I'm doing the same here. First 5 over, full game over. Red Sox and Angels. I think you'll get runs scored. You look at these 2 teams, by the way, current form against lefty pitching with their respective lineups has been good. The Red Sox, 6.75 runs per game against lefties. The Angels, 5.68 runs per game against lefties and a 286 batting average. This ain't your Angels of last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where we constantly got on them for not hitting lefty pitching. They're hitting lefty pitching this year, and especially in the last month or so. So I think we'll see runs both ways. Red Sox, Angels for me. I'll go first 5 over, 4.5, 5, and the full game over 9 in this one. Conor Mack, your thoughts here? Boston Red Sox, LA Angels.
Yeah, this is one that's shouted out kind of over, and at a 9, I think it's kind of a steal with 2 pitchers. The ERAs are way up, almost at 6, high 5s here. I know Rodriguez pitched a little bit better, and Heaney can be hit and miss. But I thought at 9, yeah, the over was the play here. Yeah, 4.5, first 5, you could look at that. Even team total, the Angels is 3.5. The Bo Sox at 4.5, minus 115. I think we see runs. Like you said, day game, 80 degrees, wind's blowing out again, 8 miles an hour, dead center. These guys can give up the long ball. Bogart's 5 for 10 with the jack. JD Martinez, 3 for 4, 2 home runs off Heaney. The Red Sox have been hitting lefties. Give me runs. And I got a couple of home run jack of the days on those guys.
All right, good stuff. Yeah, just as long as it has nothing to do with penalty kicks. Yeah. Yeah, we saw another one yesterday, Italy, Spain. Yeah, it's just a brutal way to see, could you imagine, again, if you're in the Stanley Cup playoffs here, you crunching body checks, big-time saves, big-time goals, incredible intensity. You play your guts out. You block shots. You take pucks to the face, pucks to the teeth. You lose teeth on the ice blocking a shot, and they get stitched up, come right back out because you're a warrior in that sport. You do everything you can to win a Stanley Cup, and then you end up being in a situation where you could have overtime, and it's still tied after one overtime period, and you're going to go to a shootout to determine a series winner and move on to the next round, or dare I say it, a Stanley Cup. We would be burning down Gary Bettman's house. We'd be burning down the NHL headquarters. If that shit ever happened in the NHL, we'd be doing the same thing in the NFL if Roger Goodell ever said, you know what, 5 field goals apiece in the Super Bowl when the game is tied, most field goal kicks through the uprights wins the Super Bowl. Can you imagine that? We would be rioting in the streets if that ever happened. Wouldn't we, Connor? Could you imagine that in the Super Bowl? 5 field goals apiece, most field goals wins the Super Bowl. We would be beside ourselves. We'd be livid. Yeah,
on the kicker, come on. Guy's not even part of the team. Well, I mean, he is at the end when you need him. But, yeah, that'd be crazy. No way, Jose.
No way, Jose. Exactly. Let's not play possession by possession with the ball. Try to drive the field, get first downs, play the game out the way it's supposed to be played. Let's not do that. Let's do 5 field goals apiece instead. And that's your Super Bowl champ. That's your playoff winner. That's what soccer does with that. It's not, let's play it out. And I hear the soccer fan always coming back at me. Well, Ian, if they can't play forever, well, do something to make sure there's a better chance for goals in the extra time. Take one player off each side every 5 minutes, and I guarantee you it'll open up the pitch. Sorry, the pitch is what they call it. It'll open up the pitch, and you'll get more opportunities for goals is what's going to happen. So that's what you do. You take one guy aside, you 11 on 11, then 10 on 10, then 9 on 9, 8 on 8, and you're going to end up eventually, someone's going to score, all right? And then you can avoid this penalty kick nonsense. But that'll never happen because I've been yelling about it for 20 years. Things haven't changed. Things will never change. They're stuck in this mindset of doing the penalty kick. So, it's like, I'm screaming at the wall, essentially. Nothing's going to be done. Nevertheless, what will be done here tonight at Camden? yards. Well, the Blue Jays bounce back because that was a rough night for them last night. They're taking on the Orioles. Hyunjin Ryu on the mound for the Jays. Matt Harvey for the Orioles. Blue Jays about -180, -190. Road favorites, total a 10.5, 11 in some spots here in this one. I'm very, very conflicted here with Ryu because I think he's been affected by the sticky tack, spider tack, the crackdown, and the foreign substance, ban, if you will. And he hasn't pitched as well over the last few starts. However, one of those good starts was against Baltimore. Not only did he pitch well against them recently, he dominated. He completely shut them down. So which Ryu is it going to be tonight in this game? That's the big question going into this one. The Jays should hit Harvey, but I also thought they would hit Watkins last night, and they really didn't. And they only got one run into the sixth inning in that game last night. So I don't know. They should hit Harvey, though. Harvey's been a mess. Harvey's been absolutely awful. 7.34 ERA. Now he's been, I guess, marginally better the last couple of starts, I would say.
Yeah.
But, man, that's not saying a lot. I mean, that's just like going from brutal to just bad, or mediocre. He hasn't even hit mediocre yet. I think he's still bad. He's just gone from brutal to just bad. I think they should hit here. The wind's blowing out. It's another hot night in Baltimore. I cashed with the over last night. Both bullpens are suspect, especially Baltimore's. What I do like about Toronto's bullpen tonight, though, is they didn't use any of their good relievers last night. They used their garbage relievers like Trent Thornton, who basically pissed the game away for the Blue Jays after Steven Matz left the game. He's awful. But all the good relievers like Romano, Simber, who they just got from the Marlins, the better relievers were not used in that blowout loss last night. So the high leverage better relievers are available tonight. I think Ryu pitches well. I'm going to take a shot Jays run line here, -1.5 tonight. This is the spot I think to do it, -130, and I'm going to lean over 10.5 as well. Because look, even if Ryu pitches well, which I think he might, I think the Jays hit Harvey. Baltimore's bullpen is brutal. Baltimore's bullpen almost blew it. Baltimore's bullpen let the Blue Jays back into that game last night. So I'm looking at this as we'll see run still. It's a very warm night, wind blowing out, over 10.5 for me, and a smaller opinion for me on the Blue Jays run line here, -1.5. I mean, you got to try to right the ship. You can't lose 2 in a row to this Orioles team at this point. Conor Mac, what do you think here?
Yeah, Harvey, has been a little bit better. I guess if he can go 4 1/3 or 5 1/3 and just give up 2 runs, 3 runs, that's good for him, not 5 or 6. He always hits trouble, too, usually in the 4th and 5th inning, second time through the lineup. And Jays, man, Steven Matz, he got me. I thought the Jays off a day off, scoring 1 run would hit, but they got even better numbers against Harvey. Springer's 5 for 10, 3 jacks. Vladdy 3 for 5 with a homer. They've hit Harvey. They've already hit him this year. Yeah, I'm with you. It'd be Jay's run line. I'd lean over. The team total 6.5. I just gotta cut it there. But I lean even that. I think they score runs today. Finally break out. Wind blowing out there in Camden.
All right, we're going to skip Dodgers. We hate skipping games. We like to usually give you something on every game, but there's no pitchers on either side here for the Dodgers and Marlins. So we're going to move on to Brewers and Mets. This is the second game of that doubleheader. It looks like the second game here is going to be a matchup with Brett Anderson, and we don't know for the Mets. So we know it's going to be Brett Anderson for the Milwaukee Brewers. He's off an injury stint. Wasn't very good before the injury stint. So if I had to give you some kind of opinion, it would be maybe a lean to the Mets team total in that game. But other than that, got to see who's on the mound too for the Mets. But maybe a Mets team total, because at least that way you don't have to worry about who's pitching for the Mets. So I would lean in that direction for the second game of the doubleheader. We'll go to the Phillies and the Cubs, where we do have 2 starting pitchers that we know will be on the mound here in this game. Alec Mills for the Cubs. Zach Wheeler in the sky keeps on turning for the Philadelphia Phillies here. Philadelphia -135, -140. Road favorites, 7.5 the total in this game. I don't know if I've laid a price on the road with the Phillies this year. I'm going to do it tonight. The Cubs, I can't even explain anymore what's happening with the Chicago Cubs team. That's fallen apart right before our eyes with this group. I mean, the pitching's awful. Arrieta, just an embarrassing embarrassing start last night, and he's
horrible.
already been in rough form. Horrible.
Yeah.
He buries
I
the team.
don't know how he's in the
He
rotation.
doesn't give them
Yeah.
a chance. They're buried in the first inning.
Yeah, he's horrible.
He's absolutely awful. Their starters are struggling. Hendricks is up and down. You don't know what you're going to get. Davies is up and down. You don't know what you're going to get. Alec Mills is pulling this Houdini act. I can't believe he's only got a 4.85 ERA. He's just not very good. This is such a pitching mismatch. And Zach Wheeler, has been borderline brilliant this year for the Philadelphia Phillies here in this season. 2.05 ERA. He's got absolutely phenomenal numbers. I think there's something wrong with the Cubs internally. I know they're not playing good ball off the field, and I know they got some injuries, but come on. I mean, David Bodie's a good player, and that other kid that was up there for a while as well, who's injured now, was also playing well. But come on. I mean, at some point, you got to man up here. This is an ugly losing streak. This is embarrassing for the Chicago Cubs. We know they stink on the road, but we were thinking that you'd be able to right the ship coming back home to Wrigley Field, where you've actually played well this year, and you haven't done that. You've been outscored 28-13. How have you given up to the Phillies 28 runs in the first two games of this series combined? I don't know. I mean, and the bullpen's fallen apart. This is the strength of the team coming into this series for the Cubs was their bullpen. And it's not even getting the job done as of late. So all things considered, with the way things are going for the Cubs, and look, the Phillies are, playing better. They took 2 of 3 from a good San Diego team over the weekend. They've now gone 5-2 in their last 7 games. So they're sort of trending up. There's a huge starting edge, in my opinion, for Wheeler. 2.05 ERA, 1.53 ERA in his last 3 starts. They have a winning record with him on the mound at 10-7. I'm going to do what I don't normally do, and that's lay a price on the road with the Phillies here, minus 135. Connor, what do you think here, Phillies and Cubs?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday Nola got kind of hit there too, but this is the guy, Wheeler. You want him, Other than that, 3 innings, Washington, this guy gives you 6, 7, 8 innings every start. I mean, he's even gone 9 once. He really goes deep. In his last couple, 7 2/3 against the Padres, 7 innings, the Mets, no runs. I don't want the Phillies in that bullpen late. I'd be on the Phillies first 5, just take them flat, or you could go first 5, half a run here. I'd lean that way. The Cubs are just in trouble. And I can't believe how Mills pitched so great in Cincinnati. I'm still just shaking my head on that one. The wind's kind of blowing in a little bit after the wind blowing out the last few days. So nothing on the total. It seems pretty low after the last barrage of 20 runs, whatever, 15-10, the final yesterday. But yeah, just keep it simple. Phillies first 5 here.
Look at the difference in the total. It was like double digits, and of course, both games go over the total. Today's 7.5, and it's because the wind's not only blowing in, C-Mac, it is straight in at 11 miles per hour. So look at the difference that does to the total at Wrigley Field. So that's exactly why we're seeing a huge difference. And it's much cooler, actually. A cold front. I feel like a weatherman now in this time of year doing baseball. A cold front has swept through the Midwest here. It's bringing about these muggy temperatures now, and now we're going to see much better pitcher weather conditions moving across the country. If you look ahead to the 5-day forecast here, you'll see it's going to warm up again, and we could see some overs. You got to mix the betting element into it with me trying to be the weather channel guy here talking about these games.
Meteorologist.
That's what I feel like, because we got to update the wind and all that stuff all the time. But now it's wind blowing in. It's much cooler. You can understand why the total is 7.5 here in this one. It's a good forecast for unders tonight. You might want to bet some, may want to put a hundo on them. You never know. It probably will pay off. That's your weather update for tonight. I'm meteorologist Ian Cameron. There you go. Next up, we've got Oakland and Houston. Sean Manaea, Luis Garcia on the mound. Houston minus 160. Home favorites here, 8.5 the total. Man, that's pretty brutal if you had Oakland last night, especially in the first 5 innings. What were you up, like comfortably a couple of times, and the Astros battle back each time? Yeah, brutal. I think it ended 6-6 after the first 5, but you talk about a bad push. That is a bad push. I mean, Oakland had such a big lead in that game last night, but hey, that's what you get sometimes when you face the Astros lineup. They are never out of a game. They're as dangerous as it gets, and they showed it last night. Sean Manaea on the mound for the Athletics. guy that certainly the Astros have seen him a lot. I always am interested, especially with divisional matchups, pitchers that have faced a certain team a lot. How have they done? And there's some Astros that have hit Manaea pretty decently in the past. Maldonado, Tucker, Miles Straw, Yuli Gurriel, Carlos Correa, 7 for 32. Not so much him, but Altuve, 9 for 38. Not so much him either. So he's actually kept some of the bigger bats in check, but it's been some of the down the lineup hitters in the lineup for the Astros that have done some damage against Manaea. We'll see how he goes here today in this one, but certainly Luis Garcia, we've talked about him and how steady for the most part he's been for the Astros throughout the course of the season. He comes into this one with a 3.14 ERA overall, a 2.58 ERA at home this year. So he's pitched well in this ballpark against Oakland. He faced them once this year, gave up 2 runs in 5 innings. The Astros won that game 8-4. So we'll see how it goes here. Manaea, again, in his last several starts, has been really good. He's in his last 8 starts, he's given up 2 runs or less in 7 of his last 8 starts. He was roughed up a little bit last time against Texas. 4 runs, 9 hits, 5 innings, 2 home runs. But Astros hit lefties. We know that. That's been a staple of theirs all season long. That could continue here. So I think Houston's the side, but I'm not going to lay the price here against Manaea, who's still overall been in good form, 7 of his last 8 starts. So I'm not going to be involved in this game. I was on the over last night, obviously an easy winner. And I'm telling you what, this could stay under, but 8.5s, I don't like betting 8.5s with Houston at home. You know, they just have a way of making those totals look small with what their lineup is capable of doing. So I wouldn't touch the under, I should say, at 8.5. What do you think here, Connor?
Yeah, this might be an in-game look. Like, you can look at it, Garcia, you get the Astros kind of cheap here facing a lefty, or you get the A's, a good team with Manaea on the mound, 11 games over 500 at plus 140. So yeah, it's a difficult spot for me as well. But you mentioned some of the big guys haven't hit, but Maldonado, 7 for 17 with a homer. Kyle Tucker, 5 for 14 with 2 homers. I'm going to stay off here. I kind of wanted to take Astros team total over 4.5. You can get it right around even money. I kind of was looking at that. So that's the only way I was looking here. And then other than that, I'm maybe in game this one. I did it yesterday with the over. I took it and they scored a ton of runs. So I'm going to wait on this one.
All right, nothing wrong with that. We move on now. Thank you for the dono. Don't ask, don't tell. $10. Wow, this guy's just he's giving us Christmas gifts in July right here. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. Thankful for the support from everybody. We'll get to the 7th inning stretch very soon. We'll get to it prior to the Yankee game, and we'll shout everyone out in the chat like we usually like to do right before the last couple late West Coast games. Colorado and Arizona. Next up, we've got Antonio Senzatella on the mound here for the Colorado Rockies. He'll be opposed here by Humberto Castellanos on the mound here. We'll get his first starting opportunity. This is a guy that's now in his first year in Arizona. He was with Houston last year in a rookie year, drafted a couple of years ago. We'll see how he fares here in this one. It'll be the first major league start for Castellanos. He's been working out of the bullpen this year for the Diamondbacks with a 3.09 ERA overall. We'll see we'll see how he goes. Again, he's got good numbers out of the pen, Castellanos. Now it's just a question of how's he going to fare in his first major league start. That's a question we'll have to wait and see. Senzatella, who's on the mound for the Rockies here, 4.58 ERA. Overall, not great. At home, he's been all right. On the road, not so much. 6.35 ERA for him on the road. And how about the Rockies? They haven't won. Well, they haven't won many on the road, period. Another road loss for them last night against Arizona. It's amazing, huh? They just go from win at home. They go on the road. They play this lousy Arizona team and they lose. Colorado. They just can't win on the road. This Colorado team, 6-32. I'm seeing some decent things for this kid, Castellanos. I'd actually lean to Zona. First of all, I'd lean to Zona because I don't want Colorado on the road. They're unbackable right now on the road. I would lean Arizona first 5 full game, not full game, first 5 because their bullpen's terrible. It would only be a first 5 look for me on Arizona. I would lean that way, but I think it's just going to be a lean. It's not going to be anything that I get to the betting window with. And like I said, Senzatella, the Rockies are 0-6 this year in his 6 road starts, which goes right in line with the Rockies' overall pathetic road record of 6-32 on the season. So I'm not betting this game. I'm staying away from this game just like I stayed away from last night's game, but I'll throw out a lean there at least to Arizona in the first 5. Connor, what do you think?
Yeah, just when you 0-6, it's like, yeah, just stay away. I mean, you roll the dice with the Rockies to win, but the D-backs to win 2 games at home, you're rolling it a little bit them. I mean, when's the last time they won a couple back-to-back at home? You're right. Castellanos, he's been one of the lone kind of bright spots out of that D-backs bullpen, but, he's starting now today. How many innings is he going to go? Both teams light hitting. The under, it stayed under yesterday. We talked about it. Both teams are kind of weak off righties. They're at the bottom of the league. But when you got Senzatella, who the D-backs have hit pretty well, a lot of these guys, Walker, there's a bunch of long balls he's given up. Christian Walker, a couple, Escobar, Peralta. And then you got a D-backs bullpen day. You got to think the Rockies can score runs. I looked at the over 9, now 9.5 even money. Maybe an in-game 2 here. Maybe the first couple innings with these pitchers, you get to the bullpens, take the over. And I was kind of looking at the Rockies team total over 4.5 as well, -110.
All right. Next. Yeah, exactly. What I would do if you like the Rockies to score, maybe wait until Castellanos leaves and then have at it with a Rockies team total, full game over, something like that. That Arizona bullpen is always good to give something up late in the game. St. Louis and San Francisco. We've got the Cardinals and Giants, Oviedo and Alex Wood, your pitchers here. San Fran, -175, home favorites here at Oracle Park. In this one, the total right now, currently 8.5, pretty much across the board here. I would lean to the over here a little bit with these two teams tonight. I mean, St. Louis is starting to hit. Last 2 games in this series, they've scored 11 runs, which is good to see. The lineup, which was not good in Colorado, has been better in this year. And look, they faced Gossman. They faced Cueto. Cueto's a little bit more suspect, but that's to see the lineup starting to hit is a good thing for them. Alex Wood, a guy that started the season just lights out, hasn't been quite that way lately for Wood. He's been hit around a bit. You look at his last 7 starts, 4, 7, 4. He had a better start, but then he gave up 6 to Philadelphia after that. Last 2 were a little bit better for him, at least. 2 runs against Oakland, 2 runs against Arizona. We'll have to see how he fares here. The Cardinals, when they're right, they've been able to do a decent job hitting lefties overall still for the season. They're much better against lefties than righties. So I'm not totally sold on a clean outing here, a clean ride for Alex Wood. And on the flip side, how I feel about Oviedo, especially away from Busch Stadium. It's been a struggle for him, 5.14 ERA overall, 6.2 ERA on the road. Last time out against Colorado, 3 runs, 7 hits, 6 innings. Better start in that one. But prior to that, gave up 5 runs in 4 innings to Pittsburgh. Pretty bad considering how anemic the Pirates lineup has been. And then he gives up 6 runs in 3.2 innings against Detroit before that. So just overall, not a big believer in this Johan Oviedo for the Cardinals. So I do think the Giants lineup should do some damage as well. So put it all together, I like over 8.5 a little bit here in this one. Connor Mack, what do you think here, Cardinals Giants?
Yeah, the wind's still blowing out too. Pretty strong to left center. I talked about it yesterday. I took the Cards and I didn't take the over, and there was plenty of runs. It got there, and I took it in game 1. I think this is light here. There's great numbers off Wood. I mean, Goldschmidt's got 4 homers, Jack of the day, 8 for 30 with 4 homers. The guy who hit one yesterday, Arenado, he's got 2 off Wood. Carpenter's 8 for 3 with a jack. I think we see they can hit Wood. They're starting to show some signs of life a little bit, back-to-back wins. But I think the Giants can hit Oviedo. He can't be trusted on the road. So I'm with you here. You could look at team totals, but give me the over 8.5, full game, -115.
And you're 100% right about the wind. Left field, blowing straight out to left field, 12 miles per hour. Not a light wind either, pretty moderate wind as well. And you saw the ball flying a little bit there the last couple games here in Giants at Oracle Park here. So definitely. And Vitalis is right. Giants, you're right. First 5 innings has been a great bet for them. No question. They've been a great first 5 team. Certainly, a half a run in this one. If you want to look in that direction, I don't hate that by any stretch of the imagination. All right, good stuff. Let's before we get to our last two games, seventh inning stretch time. Time to stretch. There we go. Man, I need to stretch more. I just realize how good it feels when I do that. Stretch. I'm gonna have terrible posture when I'm an old man. I can tell already. But anyway, we've got Woo Woo Woo, Kenny Woo in the chat. Welcome in, Cheshire Cap, Brian Watson, Vitalis, Anthony Imbrogno. Congrats to Italy, by the way, Anthony Imbrogno winning the soccer yesterday. Brian Watson, John Roy, Abel Alvarez, not applicable. Benjamin Mills, thanks to Uncool, 22, Po Buddies, Nerfic, Joey Harb, John Chow, Kyle Hintley, and everybody in the chat that joins us. We appreciate the support. Lance LaRose, everybody in the chat, thank you very much. Razor Sharp, Puzzler, excellent turnout once again today. So we'll have to wait and see. James McGinnis, great stuff. Crystal, there we go. Crystal Warren, thanks for joining us. John, I mentioned John already. Gerald Jones, Nate Dogg, thank you to everyone in the chat. Luke Murphy, we appreciate that. Everybody in the chat joining us on the MLB Closing Time show today. James Brown, Ron Crawford, Truth, Lucky Power. Thanks to everyone. We appreciate all of you joining us here for the MLB Closing Time show. And let's move on now to Yankees and Mariners. We've got Domingo Germán and Yusei Kikuchi, the matchup here in this one. Right now, we've got the New York Yankees minus 120. Actually, wow, it was minus 120. Now we're seeing it down to minus 110 in most spots. A lot of Seattle support. The total 8.5. Nobody buying what the Yankees were selling last night. That big blowout win for the Yankees last night was going to be the sign of a resurgence or a turnaround. Nobody buying that yet, apparently, after last night. And I don't blame them. I'm going to have to see more from the Yankees before I buy into the fact that that's going to get them be a springboard to a win streak here, especially with Domingo Germán on the mound. I mean, it's not a guy I trust. He's been struggling all season. He's been erratic all year for this Yankees team. That's a worry going into this outing for the Yankees. 4.5 ERA this season. Last three have been not very good for him, and he's not pitching deep. Look at these last four starts. 7 runs to the Phillies, 4.1 innings. 4 runs, 7 hits to the A's, 4 innings. 4 runs, 5 hits, 4 innings against the Red Sox. 3 runs, 3 hits, 3 innings against the Angels in that last start. He's just not good. He's just not, pitching deep. He's not getting outs. He's getting in trouble every inning. He's, getting guys on base. He's giving up run. I mean, it's the whole gamut for Domingo Germán. And not only that, but he's just struggling right now and fighting it at the moment. Not fighting it at the moment is Yusei Kikuchi. Yeah. This has been a sparkling run of excellence for Yusei Kikuchi, the lefty for Seattle. 4 straight starts with 1 run or fewer allowed. He has given up a grand total of 3 runs in his last 26.2 innings of work. Think about that. 3 runs in his last 26.2 innings of work, Yusei Kikuchi. Really impressive stuff for him. I think he's definitely got the clear starting edge here against Domingo Germán. Seattle's kind of, been up and down here since they returned home from that road trip. They're 2-2. They did win 2 of 3 against Texas, and they got bombed by the Yankees yesterday, 12-1. Not surprising. Like, I had a small bet on Seattle. My stronger bet was the first 5 in the full game over yesterday because I just didn't trust Sheffield. And Justice Sheffield, his days might be numbered in this Mariners rotation. He has been.
It was right
ugly.
away.
Yeah, pretty ugly.
He was done right away.
When you're seeing Stanton hit a 3-run shot off you in the first inning, it's not going to be your night. And that's exactly what we've seen here. So I like Seattle. I don't like the total because I don't know if the Yankees are going to hit Kikuchi. Kikuchi's been lights out, almost unhittable, to be honest, the last 4 starts. So I'm just going to go Seattle here. First 5 in full game split in this game. I think they'll get the job done and even up this series. And like I say, right now, if you look at these numbers, Kikuchi's got the better numbers than Germán. Yes, you say Kikuchi. You say yes, and I say no. Yeah, you say Kikuchi, and I say go, go, go. There you go. You say Kikuchi. I think in the Mariners get it done tonight. Connor, what do you think here?
Yeah, I hope so. Last night was Sheffield. He brought that. He's horrible. and I kind of called the home run. He walks those guys and just served it in the Discord. It was over from there. But I'd come back with the Mariners here with Kikuchi. Like you said, 3 of his last 4 starts, he's gone 7 innings. He's looked good, and I'm not buying what the Yankees did. I can't believe the Mariners couldn't even score a few runs last night on Talion. I mean, that guy's not good. But maybe they can get it tonight because Herman has not been good, especially on the road, and he's susceptible to the long ball. So, yeah, just give me the Mariners full game, getting it even money, plus 105. I'm not going to mess with the total. I lean their team total over, but just give me them straight up here.
All right, good stuff. All right, we've reached the final game of this Wednesday MLB card. Washington Nationals, San Diego Padres. Patrick Corbin, the lefty for the Nats. Chris Paddock for San Diego. We've got the Padres minus 170. Home favorites in this game, 8.5 the total here at Petco Park. We've had 2 overs so far in this series, 7-5, 7-4. The Nationals won the first game. Padres returned the favor and won last night. So it's a rubber match here, and you've had 2 overs, and you've had San Diego now start to get those bats swinging again. 11, 5, and 7 runs for them in their last 3 games. Now they take on Corbin, who has kind of fallen back again. It's been a weird season for Corbin. Great run in early May. Late May into June, he had 3 starts where he gave up 4 runs and didn't pitch particularly well. Then he had a stretch where he gave up 3 runs, 1 run, 2 runs, and 3 starts. And now he's given up 3 runs, 6 runs in his last 2 starts. So it's been a up and down type of year here for Patrick Corbin. The Padres bats starting to swing it again. As overall for the season against lefties, 229, 4.42. But lately a little bit better, 250, 5.06 runs per game. I think they could do a little bit of damage here. Chris Paddock on the other side for the Padres in this game, 4.07 ERA overall, 4.18 ERA at home. He's actually had a better season overall, but he's had a couple problem starts. He got roughed up by the Cubs, roughed up by the Mets, roughed up by the Diamondbacks a couple of starts ago. Last start against Philly was better, 3 runs, 7 strong innings in that game. Yeah. He has not ever faced the Nationals, so sometimes that's an advantage here for a pitcher in this circumstance. But, it's well priced. Maybe you could go San Diego, laying a half a run first 5. My leans would be San Diego team total over and Washington, San Diego full game over 8.5. But, Paddock has been good at times at home. And also keep in mind the Nationals don't have any experience against him. And sometimes that could be a big advantage for the pitcher. So that's why the full game over, I'm debating. Do I go full game over or to just go with the Padres team total over? Because they're hitting again. Corbin's been in a bit of a downward slide the last couple starts. So I do think Padres get theirs. I just don't know if the Nats will get theirs. So right now I'm looking at Padres team total over, full game over. I haven't bet either yet. I'm on the fence debating which one to go with. Conor Mack, what do you think here? Washington, San Diego.
Yeah, me too. I'm a little bit on the fence. I lean the Nats a little bit, plus 150 first 5. We talk about I'm not big on Paddock. I watched his whole start in Philly. He gave up a few early there, and yeah, he settled in and pitched. The last 4 innings were real good, but I still don't trust him. He shouldn't be minus 175. So I think there's some value with the Nats first 5, especially getting 150. But Corbin's got hit, and these Padres are hitting right now and can hit lefties. So difficult one. I just lean the total 8. I know another game over here, but I see both teams scoring. And you could look at team totals as well. I haven't had a lot of success with the Padres team totals, so I just go the full game here. And then the Nats is 3.5 at a decent price. They should be able to score a few. Lately, they've hit the last few days, so get a few off Paddock. I'm a fade Paddock guy.
Yeah, and fade Paddock for Conor Mack. Like I say, I'm still on the fence with Paddock. He could be good. He could maybe struggle. That's where I'm at. I think it could. I wouldn't be surprised if he's great tonight. It wouldn't be surprised if he's hit around a little bit. Right. And I do think they will hit him a little bit here. And by the way, that's a good point, Benjamin Mills. Junior Valentine behind the plate, 12.78 runs per game average in games where he's been calling balls and strikes behind home plate. So obviously an over umpire. You would think with an umpire that's averaging 12 runs per game when he's behind home plate. So that is definitely something to keep in mind going into this start tonight or going into this game, as he'll be behind home plate for the Nats and the Padres. All right, Conor, great stuff. That is the Wednesday card. Thanks to everyone for joining us. We'll get back. We'll be get into best bets and Jack of the Day in just a second. But before we do that, as we do each and every day at this time on the show, we'll pause for some messages from both Manscaped and Southtown 101. All right, Southtown 101. When you're in San Antonio, Texas, make sure you check them out. Great food, drinks, live music, DJs, and yes, karaoke. And as you can tell, that's something that interests me greatly. Southtown 101 in San Antonio. Check them out. Manscaped, promo code PubSports. You can get 20% off your purchase of Lawnmower 4.0, new and improved, and any Manscaped product by using the promo code PubSports. MyBookie.ag, promo code PubSports. We've got the NHL and the NBA playoffs winding down, but there's still Major League Baseball every day. Huge UFC card, Poirier McGregor this weekend. Looking forward to that. We got one more major in golf coming up next week, the Open Championship overseas. That's always a fun event with the winds, with the weather, with the links courses over there. That's a challenge. That's where you find out who a real golfer is in that event. The Open Championship next week, and of course football just a month away. British Open.
I like to call it the Open Championship. Yeah.
Different. I don't know why they got rid of British Open too, but I think it you know what it did? It pissed off the Irish and the Scots. Is what it did, because they have the tournament too sometimes. And what are you calling it British Open for? You know, Ireland and Scotland and Northern Ireland host this damn thing too sometimes. So I think that's exactly why they moved to change the name. But nevertheless, MyBookie.ag, football right around the corner. Bitcoin accepted currency for your deposit. MyBookie.ag, promo code PubSports. All right, it is time for Jack of the Day.
Well, see you later.
There's definitely a couple that interest me here in this. We already mentioned Tim Andrew. That game's already started with the White Sox and the 2-0, by the way, for the White Sox early in that game today. So good start there. As far as other Jack of the Day candidates here today, it's hard to ignore Andrew Benintendi against Sonny Gray. Even though I like the Reds in that game, 1 home run and 6 for 11 against him. So keep an eye on that. Benintendi for the Royals. In the Red Sox-Angels game, I like J.D. Martinez against Andrew Heaney. 2 home runs there for him. Xander Bogaerts, I would sprinkle on him as well. A couple of guys have done long ball damage against Andrew Heaney of the Angels. As far as the Blue Jays go, George Springer against Harvey's a must. 3 home runs of his 5 hits, 5 for 10 against Harvey. 3 of the 5 hits, home runs, George Springer. Against Matt Harvey, absolutely. I'd go Vlad Jr. as well for the Blue Jays in that game. Against Alec Mills, Bryce Harper, 2 for 2 and 1 home run against Alec Mills. So Bryce Harper for the Phillies, I'd look in that direction. Kyle Tucker's got 2 home runs against Sean Manaea. I'd probably look at that as well. You've got, and then there's a couple, I believe, in the Yankees-Mariners game that I was looking. I think there was one. No, there wasn't one for Seattle, but no, that's it. There you go. That's what I'm looking at there for Jack of the Day. Connor Mack, what do you like for Jack of the Day candidates?
Yeah, you mentioned Anderson that game's off. Yeah, Springer, Vladdy. I think Goldschmidt and Arenado. I also looked at Tucker as well. One other one I mentioned, some of those home runs for the D-backs. Christian Walker, that guy can go deep. He can hit it long when he connects. He's 8 for 17 with 2 homers. You could probably get a good price on him for Jack of the Day too, Christian Walker.
All right, good stuff. It is time for best bets now. Connor Mack, what do you like for your best bet today?
I'm going to give 2. I like these both. I'm going with 2 overs. I'm going with the Ian special here. I'm in Giants. I think that game goes over 8.5. Giants Cards over 8.5. And I'll just give you one other one. I don't know if you like this one, Ian. I think Red Sox Angels goes over 9. That's kind of what I circled last night. So I think both those games get up and over the total today.
All right, there you go. This is the time of year where, again, we're in July now. The weather is like 90s in so many different ballparks now. Winds blowing out in so many of these places as well. So this is the time to capitalize with some of these overs. And
baseball wants runs.
They
want runs. Yeah, they want runs. They want no more state stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, runs across the board last night. It was a very, very high-scoring night of baseball last night. So a little 2-pack of overs for Conor Mack here. Cardinals, Giants over 8.5. Red Sox, Angels over 9. Best bets for Conor Mack. Best bet for me tonight. I'm going to go with the Mariner. I'm going to go with a side. I hope it's. I may not use a side for a best bet if this doesn't win tonight, but I'm going to use this one tonight. I'm going to go with the Seattle Mariners here in the first 5 innings against the New York Yankees. You got -110. First 5 innings, Seattle Mariners. I think it's a really good side here. Like I say, I'm more of a totals at this time of year than sides in baseball, but this is a really good side to me. Kikuchi has been outstanding. The Yankees not always trustworthy of a lineup against lefties, and Domingo Germán's not any good right now for the Yankees at the moment. So Seattle first 5 -110, and with you say Kikuchi, and I say we cash a ticket with that one. Seattle -110. First 5 for my best bet. That'll wrap up this edition of the MLB Closing Time Show. We will be back tomorrow, 1:00 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. We might have a time change once the NBA Finals end, based on some certain things. So we'll keep you up to date on that once we've decided when that's going to be, and also what time the show will be moving to. But we'll definitely we'll give you some word of warning, advance notice when we know
a little later in the day, maybe. So
exactly,
we'll see.
and that's going to be after the finals, by the way, and that won't start until after the NBA Finals end. But definitely could be moving the time of the show in the next few weeks. But we'll be back tomorrow, though. The current time, as always, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. Plus, we got NBA Pub Hub tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific for Game 2 of the NBA Finals. Bucks and Suns. Hopefully, Game 2 betting-wise treats me and Conor, and I think most of the crew did really well last night. Treats us as well as last night's game did. So look out. We're looking forward to Game 2 of the NBA Finals. So we'll have that on the NBA Pub Hub tomorrow. For Conor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday. Enjoy the games and good luck. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Thursday right here on Pub Sports Radio.
Peace.